guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see from the title of the video, we are going to be discussing why a lot of restaurants in this economy are beginning to shut down and close down, y'all. We have a lot to talk about, but before we get into it, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. And also, if you are new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Go ahead and check out the rest of the content. And y'all, what do I always tell them? If you like what you see, subscribe. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So if you guys have been living under a rock like Patrick, but if you haven't, then you guys know that a lot of restaurants have been going under, shut down. A lot of fast food restaurants have been closing down a lot lately. Chain restaurants have been shutting down, and also a lot of luxury restaurants have been shutting down. But the problem is, are these restaurants really luxury like how they say they are?
Galleria Food Truck Park at Chimney Rock near Westheimer closed.
You won't believe they done just shut down Alera's.
Step on the scene and we've lost another restaurant in West Hollywood.
Shoemates, I cannot believe the Galleria Food Truck Park is officially closed, y'all.
Fast food chain Wendy's is accelerating plans to shut down many of its slower performing restaurants worldwide.
Yeah, man, one of my favorite places closed now, man. What's going on with all the selling and goals? They're closing down all of them.
We're going to get straight into it. So in this video, I'm going to break down different reasons as to why these certain restaurants are closing down. Then I am going to talk specifically about why a lot of restaurants in Houston, Texas are closing down. Because if you guys do not know, I am currently living in Houston, Texas. I am from Houston. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the contrast of what it was like going to restaurants back then in Houston versus now. It's completely different, and it has turned into something completely different, and I fear that we have lost the plot. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. I've been seeing certain people make videos. I do see I haven't fully watched Asia's video. I started it, but I never really got to finish it. But I Am Asia did touch bases on this video, and she basically talked about why a lot of restaurants were seemingly closing down. I have been wanting to make a video about this for a while now, but I just never gotten the chance to actually sit down and, you know, actually stir up a lot of speculation as to why I feel that that's happening. Throughout watching different people's videos, I feared that nobody has never talked about one of the main reasons as to why a lot of Houston restaurants are beginning to close down. Not even just Houston restaurants, restaurants in general are beginning to close down. Outside of the, you know, the generic, the food is overpriced or the service is bad, or that, no. TikTok trends, let me cook. A lot of TikTok trends are one of the main reasons as to why a lot of restaurants are beginning to close down, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Do y'all remember when Keith Lee came out and he was touring around all over America? He was going to Dallas and Louisiana and stuff, and he was trying good food places that people were recommending to him that were from these such places and stuff like that. And he was also trying these up and coming restaurants that wanted to get more notoriety and stuff like that. And he was giving his honest reviews and stuff. It wasn't even just Keith Lee. I remember Mr. Chime Time was doing that a lot. He was going around the city. He was basically like, people used to call him the hood version of Keith Lee. He was like the ghetto, the more like, you know, raw and cut.
Whoever owns this restaurant and whoever decided to serve me this bull today, I got two words for you. You. You
know, even when Keith Lee would give bad reviews, he would try his best to keep it like, you know, like professional. But when Mr. Chime would eat food, he'll be like, this shit is ass, this is and that. You guys remember that era? I don't know if you guys remember that era, but it was a lot of people going around trying different foods places and giving reviews and stuff, and they still do it, but it's not as potent anymore. A lot of the times when you guys see these people like Keith Lee and Mr. Chime Time and stuff like that still doing stuff like that, a lot of the times now they have sponsorships from companies that actually pay them to do this type of stuff. The reason as to why I said that TikTok trends are one of the main reasons why a lot of these restaurants are beginning to fail is because I don't know if you guys remember when Keith Lee was going around and touring America and he was trying different food places that people in that same city said the food was good and the food was not good or up to par in his honest opinion. It was a lot of pushback from a lot of these restaurant owners. A lot of these restaurant owners felt some type of way. They didn't like the constructive criticism, was trying to attack their business and stuff like that, and it will start a whole big outrage and stuff like that on the internet to where people were, you know, like, you know, dissecting like, oh yeah, you know what, Keith Lee is not lying because when I went to this place wasn't good and this and that. Then all of a sudden that same business owner that was arguing with Keith Lee about their food being good comes on the internet and basically says that Keith Lee is the reason why their business got destroyed. And a lot of the people start to begin to see that a lot of these business owners that act like they are so in need of Keith Lee's help are only in need of Keith Lee's help if he's not being honest with them about their business. Another thing, I don't know if you guys remember the time where Keith Lee raised GoFundMe money, or I don't even think he raised the money. I think he gave money out of his pocket to one of these lady business owners so she could give money to her employees and so she could put money back into the business. And she decided to pocket the money and take all the money, and basically her employees have to end up hitting up Keith Lee and basically exposing her for taking all of the money and stuff like that. Started a whole big outrage on socials to where everybody was attacking the older lady, and it was just a lot of drama. I feel like a lot of situations like that started making people have a turning eye to what it was like into a business that is trying to grow, and seeing how shady people are when money gets involved. A lot of these places that Keith Lee was helping, they started raising the prices even higher, and it's just shady because, in my honest opinion, Keith Lee was like, I don't know how to even describe Keith Lee when he was in his prime. Like, Keith Lee could really turn you into a millionaire overnight. No funny shit. Like, he was the type of person that when he stamped his approval, everybody's like, yeah, this is where we're going. Like, we're gonna try this food place. This is where we're going. So for you to become greedy and either A, pocket the money, B, not pay your employees, or C, try to raise up the prices way higher than usual when you know for a given fact that you don't need to do that, it's just shady, in my honest opinion. And I feel like that was the beginning of the end when that started happening. Now let me stop talking about Keith Lee and let me put him off to the side. Now we are going to be talking about other TikTok trends that ended up destroying a lot of restaurant businesses. Now, a lot of the times when you are in the city and you want to eat at a restaurant, what is the first thing you're going to do? Come on, class. You're going to go on TikTok. Let's say you're from New Jersey. You're going to type in New Jersey, good places to eat, New Jersey restaurants. Let's say that you want to go take your boyfriend or your girlfriend to a steakhouse, or you want to go to a steakhouse for a birthday dinner. What are you going to search up? New Jersey birthday dinner restaurants, luxury, steakhouse. You're going to go search up these restaurants, right? And you're going to go through these restaurants and you're going to go and see how these people feel. Now, TikTok be lying. I don't know about y'all, but in my city, TikTok be lying. They be saying that food is good, and then you go try it and the food don't be good. Either they lying or they just had a bad day, that restaurant. But a lot of the times, if you look at the comments, then you'll actually get the real business on how that place really is. Because a lot of people that review these food places, they're 9 times out of 10 paid to do so. Or like I said before, they just went on a good day when the food was actually good, right? So what I begin to notice with a lot of these restaurants, especially these luxury restaurants in the city, they will become like a trending topic for a couple of months, and everybody will be going there, and everybody will be like, you know, choosing to eat there, choosing to have their birthday dinners there, and then it will be a rapid decline after a couple of months. Like, when you start seeing new reviews, people are complaining about the service, different things, the food is not good, the food is not up to par for the pricing and everything like that, and before you know it, that restaurant becomes a thing of the past. And then next thing you know, a couple of months later, there's a brand new restaurant. For example, I don't know if you guys were around when I think it's called Toca Madera. I don't know. I've never, actually crazy, I have never went to go eat there, but I remember when that restaurant first came about, everybody was raving about Toca. Everybody was like, oh my god, like, their food is good, like the ambiance is good, the aesthetics of the restaurant is beautiful, the service is amazing, this and that. But then after a while, I remember people just being like, their food is mid. Like, I remember hearing out of nowhere, people like, their food is mid, you know, the food is not good no more. And it was a rapid decline. And I remember seeing everybody raving about Toca Madera and going there, to people saying, don't go there, the food is not that good anymore, this and that. So then my eyebrows start raising, like, why is it that every time a restaurant ends up trending on TikTok, or a restaurant ends up going viral on TikTok, they don't always keep that same steady consistency? They always end up declining after a while, and before you know, that restaurant becomes a thing of the past. I feel like TikTok trends are what they're called, trends. And one thing about trends, they come and go, you know. But what will help a business stay in longevity will be basically, what is this thing called? Integrity. And a lot of these restaurants, they lack integrity. They're money hungry, and they're trying to figure out how to make a quick bang for their buck. And when they start getting all this notoriety, I'm sorry if I'm not saying it right, y'all. When they start getting all this recognition and stuff like that on socials, some of them, it gets to their head. They don't think like, okay, let's see how we can keep the ball rolling. A lot of the times they think to themselves like, okay, a lot of people like us, you know, we can chill.
I forgot my light, so I have to raise up their light. Toca Madera, mid as fuck. Do not come here. What the fuck is a members only menu? You're telling me that I have to pay a monthly subscription to eat some fucking lobster enchiladas? Javier's would fucking never. Toca Madera, you out of Houston, actually. This is ass.
One of the very first issues that I feel like I always have a problem with, and I don't understand what's the purpose of this, is gratuity. Like, I literally do not understand the purpose of gratuity because it takes away from me actually wanting to tip the person. And, you know, I can somewhat understand if they have gratuity for a party of 6 or more, or a party of 10 or more. That's, you know, a lot for just one server. I understand. But I have been to some restaurants in Houston where they have made us do gratuity for only me and one of my other friends. And I've just been thinking to myself, like, what's the purpose of gratuity if you're basically like taking my options away. You're taking my right away for me to actually want to tip this person. And what I have noticed is whenever a restaurant requires gratuity, a lot of the times the server does not do their job properly, because I feel like, in my honest opinion, they know that they are going to get gratuity out of whatever we end up ordering from their menu, such as this. Remember, we went to Dallas one time for my friend's birthday, and she ended up going to, I forgot the name of the restaurant. I really do not remember the name, but it was one of these steakhouse restaurants that require gratuity. Oh, when I tell you the server was so mean, she had such a horrible and nasty attitude throughout the whole entire time. Like, you can literally tell that she did not care to serve us. You could tell, and she was a black girl. Like, you can literally tell that she did not care to serve us. She looked like she was like around our age. I would say probably a couple of years older. She had the worst attitude ever. If you would ask her a question, she would like make faces and stuff. Food was not good. The food took forever to come out. I remember we were sitting at that table for a long ass time waiting for the food to come out. When the food came out, a lot of the food was not good, and then they ended up slapping a big ass gratuity at the end of it. And we were requesting if we could get the gratuity off because the service was terrible, y'all. Like, when I say the service was terrible and she had the worst attitude ever, she actually ended up getting into it with one of the girls at the table. And so we called the manager and we're like, we do not want to tip her. Like, we don't want to tip her. But of course, you know, the restaurant was like that there's no way that they can take off the gratuity, this and that. I don't remember what happened, but I don't know if the manager ended up giving us a discount for the food. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think the manager ended up giving us a discount for the food because of how bad of a service we ended up having, but she still got her gratuity at the end of it all. And you could tell she felt some type of way. It's actually crazy because when she ended up ringing up everybody's food, she ended up charging people for stuff that like they did not order. Like, she mischarged people for certain things that we never even ordered. Like, let's say the table ordered 4 lemon drops. She went and put like 6 lemon drops on the receipt. And when we came to confront her about it, she basically tried to argue with us and say, you did order 6 lemon drops. And it got to the point where the girl that she was arguing with was like, okay, if we ordered 6 lemon drops, go ahead and pick up the 6 cups of lemon drops on this table that we ordered. She couldn't do so because we did not all order 6 lemon drops. So it was just weird. And I begin to notice that a lot of the times when a restaurant requires gratuity, it lets the server just do anyhow. It lets the server feel like they do not have to do anyhow. I mean, they do not have to go above and beyond. They don't have to be personable. Like, it's a very robotic type of transaction. Another thing that I have noticed a lot of the times when a restaurant requires gratuity, a lot of these servers feel like you should tip them on top of the gratuity. And I'll be looking like, I am not going to tip you on top of gratuity that you're already getting from me. Like, it's just not gonna happen. You have gratuity on the line. It's either you're gonna take the gratuity or you're gonna give me the option to tip what I want to tip to you. That's why I don't care for the gratuity thing. And I know a lot of people might argue because a lot of these restaurants, once they do gratuity, it's not just going to the server. Sometimes it might go to the people in the kitchen. Sometimes it might go to this. Sometimes it might go to that. In my honest opinion, baby, that don't got shit to do with me. I'm just being completely honest, because if let's say I go get some food at a steakhouse and my bill ends up being $80, but let's say the gratuity is 20 or 10%. So let's say the bill ends up getting up to like $100 and something, right? I am not gonna go now and tip you an extra $20 more so I can make sure that I cover your charge of your tip only. Because now at this point, I'm in my honest opinion, in this day and age and in this economy, I am tipping you in my head $40 out of the $100 bill. That's way more. That's way too much money. I have been to restaurants where a lot of workers have made faces because I put the 0 mark and I exit out. And I thought to myself, like, babe, you already have gratuity. Like, what more do you want? And I feel like that's just a way of the restaurant becoming very greedy because they don't want to pay their workers. So to play devil's advocate, a lot of these restaurants need to end up paying their workers and stuff like that, so these workers do not depend on our tips. A lot of the things that I have been seeing, and I talked about this, I touched bases about this in one of my videos, is that a tip is beginning to become required for places that a tip should not be required for. There's no reason why I should be walking into Subway and they're asking me, do I want a tip? There is no reason why I should be going to Baskin Robbins where the person literally just scoops up an ice cream, puts it in a cup, and I'm getting asked, do I want to tip? The tipping culture has gotten completely and utterly out of hand. A lot of the times when you don't tip, these people will literally make you feel bad. Like, they'll be making faces at you. They'll be saying, oh, it's gonna ask you a question. No, it's not. It's not gonna ask me a question. And you don't want it to ask me a question because I'm gonna give it an answer. And you're not gonna like the answer. And a lot of the times when you don't tip these people, you can feel the aggression. You can feel the energy shift. You can feel like it's a different vibe. Some people don't care, of course, but a lot of the times these people care. And it makes me start to wonder, are you guys paying these people enough? Because these people should not be dependent on our tips, because that's not a reliable source of income for somebody to solely depend on our tips only. Because let's keep it a buck. Yes, it is the appropriate thing to tip. Don't get me wrong. If you guys are watching it, you don't know me, I like tipping. I'm a tip. The only time that I'm not going to tip is if the service is like terrible. But for the most part, I always tip. But not everybody has to tip. Let's be real. I mean, I know it's not appropriate to just go to a restaurant, get, you know, a good luxury service, the food is good and everything, and just not tip. But let's keep it a buck. Not everybody has to tip. You don't have to tip. It's not a requirement. So whenever I see the gratuity come into play and I see the service be so lackluster, I already know that because this server is already getting money out of this situation, regardless whether I give up the money or not, server acts as if they don't have to do what they need to do to make sure that I am pleased and make sure that the service is fine. Another reason as to why a lot of these restaurants are closing down is because they overprice their food, and 9 times out of 10 the food is terrible.
In American restaurants, you're paying over $20 for microwaved frozen food, and people are wondering why no one wants to eat out anymore. This isn't just some crazy theory. This is actually true. Restaurants openly admit to this. The system is absolutely collapsing on itself. People can't afford it. Customers aren't going out anymore. These places are sitting empty on Friday, Saturday nights. I could go to Central Avenue on a Friday night and film an empty restaurant for you guys if you don't believe me. It is happening over and over and over again every weekend at this point. As a live musician in this city, I can see it firsthand because the gigs are the first thing to go. If there's no one in the restaurant, they're not going to pay for live music. And this loss of restaurants in America is going to be studied. This is bad. We're not just losing businesses, we're losing culture, we're losing third spaces, we're losing live music. Places where people gather, where they laugh, where they share stories, enjoy food together. That is all becoming a thing of the past. And even the small businesses that aren't giving you frozen food, these places are struggling just as much. They're sitting just as empty as the big chains are. And once these small businesses and mom and pop shops are gone, they're not coming back. If they do get replaced, it's going to be with a big chain, where we get to eat even more microwave frozen food. I mean, something has to change, right? What do you think? Because at this point, I honestly think that we're not going to have restaurants in 5 years. It sounds insane. I understand. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a country without restaurants. That sounds awful.
I have been to so many different restaurants where they are starting to charge $20 for 6 chicken wings, $20 for 5 chicken wings, all these different prices. Every time I turn around, every time I go to regular food chain restaurants that I have been to since I was a kid, are always raising up the price of the deal. I remember when I used to go to Chili's, they used to have the 3 for $10 triple I don't know, I remember I used to get like the triple dipper and different things, which was like 3 different options for $10. Then I remember I went to Chili's, they rose it up to 12, then they rose it up to 15. It's like the prices are rising up. And the problem with the prices rising up is our pay isn't rising up in this economy. And it's not even just at restaurants. Groceries is so expensive now. Like, there's times where I go to the grocery store for like 4 or 5 items, and I end up dropping like $60, $70 just for those 4 or 5 items. Whereas back then, I remember when I was in college before COVID hit, we used to go grocery shopping. We used to buy so much shit, and my total was like always under $200. I'll be damned now. Nowadays, if I'm going to shop for like actual grocery shop, like big grocery shop, I already know that I'm dropping $300-$400. Like, everything is so expensive in this economy thanks to the orange man, all these stupid ass, you know, taxes and stuff that he has put on in our economy and raising the price of stuff in our economy. At the same time, Everything is rising up and our pay is remaining the same. If you guys look at the unemployment rate in America right now, it's way too high compared to the years back then with the unemployment rate, and it's normalized that for us to be unemployed like that. A lot of the times you guys be asking me like, hey girl, like, are you ever gonna work your engineering job? Y'all, there has been so many times where I have applied, and a lot of people are not hiring. Like, I have a couple of friends that are not working right now, and they did engineering as well, and they're applying too. And a lot of these people are not hiring because they said that it's way too many people who need a job, and it's not enough places to put people at within that said job. When you take it to an account of people who are not working like that, or even if they are working, they're not getting paid enough for what they're working for. Prices are rising in every way, shape, or form, not just with food. Prices are rising with cars, prices are rising with apartments, prices are rising everywhere. When you look into all those stuff, people are going to see what they can cut out. And when you really think about it, the best thing to cut out, if you're trying to save money, is eating out. It's the best thing to cut out. And that's what a lot of people are starting to do. A lot of people are starting to go to the grocery store and make that food stretch. A lot of people are starting to make that food stretch for the whole month. Whenever I was a kid and my parents used to say there's food at the house, baby, I did not understand that until now. Even in college, I didn't understand that because food was not as expensive as it is now. But baby, I understand wholeheartedly. I will be the mother that would tell the kids, it's food at the house, because the price of food, and I'm not even just talking about at these luxury restaurants, I'm talking about in general, at simple place like McDonald's. I remember they used to have the $2.50 break menu, then they went and took it away. Like, I remember drinks, all the drinks sizes at McDonald's used to be $1. They're not even $1 no more. It's like these companies are getting so greedy, and they're rising their prices up slowly but surely. It's like they're doing it slow. They don't just skyrocket it. They'll start something off at $10. Then they'll push it to $10.50. Then they'll push it to $12. Like, they rise it up slowly but surely. Before you know it, something that used to be a deal for $10 will turn into something like $20. And you wouldn't even see it coming because your brain will not even process what they're doing until it's done. These companies have gotten too greedy with using their consumers and stuff for money and stuff. A lot of the food is not good. A lot of these food come from frozen refrigerators. They come from the freezer. These are freezer food. A lot of this food is not authentic. Try to paint it up to be like it's authentic and stuff like that. And a lot of this food don't taste good no more, and the sizing of the food is not good either. They will go and they will be charging such and such amount of dollars for a chicken wing. The chicken wings are small as hell. Or you go to Chick-fil-A, the chicken doesn't even taste the same at Chick-fil-A anymore. Like, I cannot even eat Chick-fil-A. Like, every time I think I'm craving Chick-fil-A and I say, okay, let me go, hopefully the chicken will be good this time, the chicken at Chick-fil-A is just not the same anymore, but the prices are the same, or if not higher. So then you just start to think, I'm gonna eat at home. Third part of the segment, we are going to be talking about Houston restaurants. Houston Chronicle News has been reported that a lot of Houston restaurants, even the OG restaurants such as Kim's Son, have begun to become closed down.
Oh my God, have y'all seen an article on the Houston Chronicle and stuff about all the Houston restaurants that's starting to close every single month? More and more closures, okay? Even McDonald's CEO have came out and said that they are dropping their prices on their value meals to bring back their reputation of affordability, because they forgot who their patrons were. Houston is having the same problem. Y'all forgot who the real people are that, like, spend money with you. I'm gonna just say it simple so everybody can follow. Okay? From the club scene to the restaurants, okay, even just the parking people, okay? Everybody wants $40 and up, okay? Then you want to charge another $24 to get into your place. Then you want to charge $25 per drink, $35, $40 for food. Like, Sunday Fun Day is now like $200 to $300. $200 to $300, because if you're a Houstonian, you already know you don't just go to one place on Sunday Fun Day. You go bare minimum 2 places, okay? But both places want $20 to $40 to park. So you're already spending $40 to $80 for 2 places to park, and you haven't even stepped into the building to breathe the air yet, okay? People are tired. We tired. This rent is high as ever. These groceries is high as fuck. Everything is higher than a giraffe's as no weed needed. And now y'all trying to say y'all want us to spend even more money? If McDonald's can drop their prices, these Houston restaurants can too.
I remember, like, you could go inside a restaurant, end up getting good service. The server there is polite, nice and stuff. I have to pay for parking. Nowadays, you literally, at some of these restaurants, you literally have to pay for parking. I remember when we went to Atlanta, and I remember Atlanta started doing that first. Not Atlanta, because I know Vegas does that. You know, you have to pay to park up in their garages and stuff like that. And I know New York does that, but Houston was known for not doing that. I remember, because one year we ended up going to Atlanta, and we ended up finding out that damn near everywhere we went, you had to pay for parking. And we also ended up finding out that, you know, parking on the side of the streets of Atlanta was very risky. Getting your cars broken into and stuff like that. It became like that in Houston now. Nowadays in Houston, you literally cannot park anywhere on the side of the streets without somebody busting up your windows thinking that you have something inside your car. This year alone, scratch this year. Within the past 3 months, my car have been broken into twice. They literally busted out, like, no funny shit. They busted out my front window, but the way my car is set up, my front windows, you can't really bust it. So they put a crack in my front window, and then they busted out the back windows. I had to go get both of them fixed. Ironically enough, my front windows were more expensive because of that screen protect shit that they have, which I don't even understand why they have it if the people were able to crack it. So I ended up having to pay for 2 windows instead of 1. And then literally the next week they busted up the windows again. So the crime rate in Houston has skyrocketed like crazy. People are becoming desperate. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. So 9 times out of 10, you do not want to park your car on the side of the road anymore. And I remember when we were in Atlanta and we ended up having to pay for parking so much, I remember thinking, like, we do not have to pay for parking in Houston. When you go to these restaurants, you literally, there's a parking lot, you park your car, you don't have to worry about your car getting broken into like that, because, you know, it's surveillance camera everywhere, and you go inside and you have a good time. Nowadays, you pull up to the restaurant, they're charging you to park. 9 times out of 10, this restaurant is completely empty. Like, it's not like they're in high demand. It's not like they're packed or nothing. This restaurant is damn near empty, and they're charging you to park, to pay to park. Now, even if they don't charge you to pay to park, they make the parking lot so freaking cookie cutter to the point where there's so many cars that have already taken up all the parking spots in the parking lot, to the point where you have to put your car at risk and park it on the side of the road. Charge it $20, $30 to park. You go inside. A lot of these Houston restaurants don't know whether they want to be a restaurant or a lounge or a club. They want to be all three. Go inside, they're selling hookah. You're thinking that you just want to go to a simple, cute brunch with your girls on Sunday. They're selling hookah. They're telling you that you have to buy a bottle to sit at a regular table. This is not even a section-based looking couch table. This is a regular restaurant table with chairs. They're saying, oh, you have to buy a bottle, or oh, you have to buy a mimosa tower in order to sit down. You cannot sit down without a bottle. Mind you, it's just you and your sis. It's just you and your good sis. They're like, yeah, those are the rules. Or, oh, you have to pop 3 bottles in order, or you have to buy, it's always something. You have to do something in order to sit down. You end up sitting down. Hookah is getting smoked over your food. There's hookah in the proximity, but you can't even see your food because your food is clouded with hookah. Music is loud as hell on a Sunday. You decided you just wanted to go to brunch with your friends. The music is loud. You're literally hearing, don't stop, pop that, don't stop. You look to the vicinity of your left, everybody shaking their ass. They got their head on their head on the table and shit, shaking their ass and stuff like that. They Sunday's best dress, and it's giving you're at the club. It's not giving restaurant vibes. The service is terrible. Bottle girl, you might as well call her a bottle girl. That ain't your damn server. That's your bottle girl. Bottle girl is taking 10 years to come up and serve you. They sit you down. They take 10 years to come and ask you what you want to order, but they gonna be quick to ask you what bottle would you like or what mimosa tower you like. They take your order. The bottle girl does not come and check on you. Water doesn't get refilled. Damn near can't find her. She on the other side. The bottle girl ain't dressed like she's at a restaurant. She's dressed like she's at the club or a strip club. She got booty shorts on and everything. Booty shorts clapping all over your food and shit. The place is too packed. The thing that went viral on TikTok, everybody said, Houston, this is the place. And before you know it, you're overwhelmed. The food is mid. The food comes out is cold. You waited so long for the food. The service is bad. And the price of the food be so expensive. There's no reason why fish and grits should be damn near $50, $60. There's no reason, baby. Grits that I could go get at H-E-B at Walmart for what? $6 a pack. You mean to tell me that fish and grits are $60, $50? shrimp and grits $60. Like, it's a ripoff. And a lot of these food places are not good. Like, a lot of the food is not good. They think like putting a whole bunch of like seasoning on there that makes it look decent, makes the food look good. A lot of these restaurants are pouring a whole bunch of parsley and Parmesan seasoning and a whole bunch of these like decorative seasoning on top to give off the appeal that the food is good. There's been so many restaurants that I have seen on TikTok that the food looks so good. When me and my friend have went, the food was terrible. And the funny thing is, the food looked the same. Like, the food looked like how I seen it on TikTok. But when I take a bite, the food end up being disgusting, end up being not appealing. The food end up being nasty. And so then I'm thinking to myself, you guys could put all this attention and energy into seasoning the top to make the food look good. Y'all can put all this time and energy into making sure that the actual food itself is good. Another thing, they put so much emphasis, a lot of these luxury steakhouse restaurants, there's so much emphasis into the building and not enough emphasis into the food. One thing that I cannot stand is when people invite me to their birthday dinners, and the birthday dinners, the location that they invite me to is solely for the ambiance. I do not like when people say, hey, come to my birthday dinner, and I go on TikTok and I'm seeing a whole bunch of bad reviews, but people are saying, oh, but the ambiance is pretty, the aesthetics is pretty. I am not paying to look at the decoration of the restaurant. I am not paying to see people swinging in the ceiling back and forth. If I wanted to do that, I could have went to a circus, okay? And I just don't like when people be inconsiderate and invite you to their birthday dinners or to special events, to restaurants that they know good and well ain't good, but because they want to keep up this aesthetic or this ambiance, they invite you there. And when you really look at it, when you really think about the situation, you're paying to keep these people's lights on. Because a lot of these restaurants over decorate their restaurants to the point where you know that when you look at the building and you look at the walls, you look at the grass wall, some of these restaurants have workers that are sitting on top of high tables just dancing the whole night. So they have to pay them to keep them dancing the whole night. The whole bunch of decorations on the ceiling, so many different lights, so many different signs and stuff, and it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. But when you take a look, next time you go to a luxury restaurant, take a look at everything and just really think about how much everything is costing. You end up beginning to realize that you are paying to keep their lights on. You are not paying for an actual food service. So the joy is no longer there, because when you walk into this restaurant, initially you're like, wow, this place is like gorgeous. Like, I could get some good pictures here. Like, oh my God, like the ambiance, the aesthetic, everything is amazing. But as you go on throughout the dinner and the server is being rude, or they're being very like, you know, standoffish, barely get to see your server, they're taking forever to come and ask you if you need anything else. It's a little bit of like weird static energy, and then the food finally comes out. The food prices are out of this world. Food finally comes out and the food is mid. By the time you end up leaving that restaurant, what you thought of that restaurant will go from here to all the way down here, and you'll just be ready to go. That's what happened in Vegas. I ended up going to the guest house for Vegas, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it was my fault. I thought my friends booked another restaurant, but they didn't, and that restaurant ended up getting booked up for that day, so we had to go with the one that I originally chose. But I did not look at the reviews on TikTok. A whole bunch of people in the comments were saying that the food was not good, that the service was not good, and y'all, we got exactly what they said. The service wasn't bad, but the food was mid as hell. And I'm not gonna lie, like, they were acting as if they were selling like they sold like fried chicken and french fries, but they called it like a very fancy name. And I didn't order that, but my friends ordered that, and it looked like Cane's chicken wings. I mean fried chicken. Like, no funny shit, it looked like they put Cane's fried chicken on there with some mid-ass french fries. The french fries were mid as hell. They weren't seasoned, and that shit was expensive. Like, I don't remember how much it was, but I remember looking at the menu like, that's expensive for something that looks like came from Cane's that was put on a fancy plate. These restaurants are gonna have to learn that if they are not putting in the effort, the time, and the energy into making sure that their business is top tier, we will not put up the effort, the time, and the energy to come to these establishments and waste our hard-earned money on BS. And that's why a lot of these restaurants are going to be closing. Mark my freaking words. If you guys think that a lot of restaurants are closing now, wait till we get to 2026.
It's not even September yet, but I have a prediction for 2026. In 2026, at least 15,000 restaurants nationwide will close. On average, about 10 to 12,000, but next year you could see as many as 15,000 or higher because prices are just skyrocketing for food. Expenses are going up. Margins in owning a restaurant, a lot of people don't know this, but the margins are often in the low single digits. I mean, you're talking about a profit margin that's razor thin for most restaurants. And in 2026, many are simply not going to make it, and they're going to close their doors, not just in states like Florida and Texas, but I'm talking about all over the country. More than 15,000 restaurants in 2026 will close their doors forever. We'll see if I'm right, but it's looking really bad. If you're in the restaurant business, you already know what I'm talking about. It's looking really bad, folks. We'll talk about this more later.
And we already know that eventually this economy is going to collapse. So yeah, y'all, that's my spill. Left anything out, you guys, y'all let me know down below. I feel like I kind of hit all talking points, but like I said before, let me know if I didn't. Y'all let me know y'all's opinions. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this video. Y'all let me know, do y'all eat out as much or do y'all choose to stay in? Because honey, I be staying in. I'm not gonna lie to you, I be staying in. I might do a little 1-2 here and there once in a while after I work out from the gym. I may be craving some Chipotle or something like that. I'll go step inside Chipotle, you know, get a bowl after I get done working out. But for the most part, babe, I will take my ass to HEB. I buy my little food and I make that bitch stretch out. I be eating noodles and everything. Like, I feel like if we all come together and stop coming to these restaurants as much, stop giving these people our hard-earned money, people are going to have no choice but to lower their prices and actually give us quality food. Love you guys so much, and give the video a thumbs up on your way out, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.